order. Excuse me, the purpose of, let's start off with this so you can hear me. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear input on amendments to the District of Hope zoning bylaw number 1324, 2012. The amendment is as follows: the District of Hope zoning amendment bylaw number 1442, 2018. At this time, I will have to read a long public hearing statement. This public hearing is being convened pursuant to the Community Charter and the Local Government Act. In accordance with the Charter, the time and place of the public hearing was advertised in 2 editions of the Hope Standard newspaper. In accordance with the District of Hope application procedure and public hearing information meeting procedural bylaw number 1393 and the Local Government Act, the required specifications have been compiled with. At this public hearing, any persons who believe that their interest in the subject property is affected by the proposal agenda item may speak or present written submissions to council on this matter. As chairperson, I will read any written briefs from persons unable to attend this public hearing so that they may become part of the record. Those who wish to speak should, when invited to speak, clearly state their name and address for the record. It is important that all who speak at this meeting restrict the remarks to the matters contained in the bylaw. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making his or her views known. Members of council may ask questions of those, The main function of council at the public hearing is to listen to the comments of the public, not to debate the merit of the bylaw. Members of council may debate any issues on the bylaw at the time of third or final reading. The order of proceedings will be as follows. The Director of Community Development will briefly describe the matters under consideration and provide a brief explanation of the proposed bylaw. The applicant or agent for the applicant may be invited to comment. All written submissions will form part of the record of the public hearing. Oral submissions from the public will be heard, and any further written submissions, if any, will be received. The public hearing will be closed. No further submissions, either verbal or written, regarding the proposed bylaws can be made to council following the public hearing. After this public hearing is concluded, the council may, without further notice, give whatever effect it believes proper to the representations made at this public hearing. So the District of Hope zoning bylaw amendment number 1442, 2018 at 444 Trans-Canada Highway. To rezone the property legally described as Lot 1, Section 16, TWP 5 RGE 26 W6M YD Plan 9850 PID 009-640-118, also known as 444 Trans-Canada Highway, from Highway Commercial C2 to Commercial Transition C5, to allow for the construction of an apartment building with retail or professional office use on the ground floor. At this time, I'll turn it over to our director, John Forlowski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Gill cannot be here tonight, but we have Cindy Scoro, the senior planner and longtime employee of the district, who is well versed and will take the place of Mr. Gill tonight. So I'll pass it off to Mrs. Scoro.
Thank you. Your Worship, the applicant is proposing a mixed-use building that would have 3 commercial units on the ground floor and 23 residential units on 3 levels above the commercial units. These residential units will consist of 4 one-bedroom units, 18 two-bedroom units, and 1 three-bedroom unit. In order to maximize the opportunity for commercial tenants, the applicant is proposing to rezone the C2 property to commercial transition zone. This mixed-use proposal, meaning multiple family above a commercial use, is achieved under the existing highway commercial C2 zone. However, the principal use is limited to uses such as restaurants, convenience stores, service stations, etc. The applicant's intent with this rezoning is to provide more flexible commercial uses like business, professional, medical offices, and retail use for potential future tenants. And the commercial transition C5 zone would support this type of proposal.
Thank you. Are there any late submissions for council to consider? No? Nothing? Thank you. Any questions from council at this time? Thank you. Does the proponent, or the applicant wish to speak?
I can answer any questions.
Can you answer any questions? Thank you. This time I'll move to the public. If you wish to speak to this application, please come to the podium and give your name and address. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Peter Dexter Qua, and I own 338 Water Avenue.
You? Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Okay. The amendment is only for the lot in question,
Yes.
for a 4-story building. If that is approved, can other people use that same thing to build a 4-story building or a higher somewhere else in Hope?
I'll turn that over to you, please.
Sir, it would depend on the zone of the property. If it was zoned C5, if, as this proponent is asking for, then yes, they would be able to have residents above a commercial business, yes. As long as they met the height requirements, maximum height requirements permitted in the zone.
What I'm getting at is, there is a bylaw here in Hope for maximum of 3 floors, is there not?
There are bylaws for the maximum height permitted in each zone, yes.
Okay, so what I'm getting at here is I'm afraid that a precedent may be set, and hope we get more applications for 3+ floors more here in Hope.
It's the mayor of the meeting, sorry.
Thank you. Councilor Harris would like to speak to you on this.
We have already approved, or working to approve, some other higher 4-story buildings in this area, in Hope. This isn't the first one that's come through.
Okay, so then there's going to be maybe some major changes here in Hope regarding the height of the buildings. We get, the flavor will be changed for Hope here. What I'm just getting at is that there's going to be a lot more than 3-story apartment buildings here in Hope.
Well, we have one already on the works that's higher than 3 stories.
Okay, but what I'm just getting at is, there is a bylaw, is there not, that states that there's a maximum 3 floors? None, eh?
Your worship, the bylaw relates to the zone. So there's no carte blanche bylaw that says the maximum number of floors within the district must be 3 and under.
Okay.
That is according to the zone and can be varied. What is worth noting is that both the IOCP, the Official Community Plan, and the Strategic Economic Development Plan talk about the need to increase density within the boundaries of Hope. So one could surmise, quite frankly, the only way to do that is to build up.
And we have no problems with that. We just have a problem with it where it is now, where it's being proposed here. The site over there. The problem we have is there's visually it's going to impair our street. We're going to get more traffic there. We're going to get more people there. There's a park there that's presently there. I clean it all the time. Well, people camp in there, doggies that use there. It's not cleaned by the city, even though it was bequeathed to the city. So I clean it, I make sure it's so that all the neighbors can use it. Okay, now you get that apartment building going up, and there's going to be more and more mess in that park area. So I have concerns about that. And then also, like, we live right near the bridge, and we know the amount of traffic that's going through there. We watch it all the time there. It's pounding through there. And if you put that inlet and outlet on a major highway like that, you're going to cause some problems because those trucks don't slow down going through there. They have to have police there to visually slow the traffic. You bring families in there now, and kids are going to run across the road. They're going to have dogs running across the road, and it won't be safe because it's a major highway. So we have problems about one, there's going to be a lot more garbage. Two, there's going to be a lot of accidents right in that area. And the health and safety of our community in that area will be at stake. See, we have now the boat traffic going through there, pounding through there at 50 miles an hour. And we have to watch out. And now we have more traffic coming through. And it's going to get worse for us, those who live on Water Avenue. And when this building goes up, where are the people going to park? There's very limited parking there.
There are 53 parkings on site.
53 on site? Thank you. We have how many apartment buildings?
Yeah, 23, and we fulfill all the parking requirements as per the parking law.
How many people in total is that, sir?
There are 23 units.
No, that's units. How many people in total would there be?
If you assume like two person per unit, right? There'll be 56.
That's a lot of people, and you mix that with the commercial. They'll all be fighting for a place to park. Or unless you intend to use Water Avenue as another route to ease the congestion that's what's happening.
But basically, I fulfill all the parking requirements from the parking lot.
Okay.
I can't hear him. I'd like to hear his answers. I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. I have fulfilled all the parking, all the requirements for the parking bylaw. For the parking for the apartment and for the commercial space.
Do you hear? I can't hear. I can't hear.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor as well, and for the general public, should we decide to approve the development, it is subject to Ministry of Highway and Transportation approval because it's within the radius of being a major highway. So they will no doubt be concerned about, and their approval will be subject to the ability to both monitor and control and ensure safe traffic around and near the site. So that's their remit.
Yeah, that's good. I have other questions, but others want to talk too. And just one in regards to, in a plan it says that there could be an exit on Water Avenue.
Sorry, you're asking, is there an exit on?
No. On the plan it says there will be an exit to Water Avenue.
On page 2 of the document.
Yeah.
If the exit goes onto Water Avenue, comes in, the traffic then blends rather than pulling out onto the highway. But that'll be, the highways will do a survey, like he says, because they're gonna make sure it's as safe as possible. And we are trying to get better areas for families to grow up in and be responsible. And we need rental units in this area too, so, well, we wanna be good about it, don't get me wrong, we don't wanna, not afflict any in the neighborhood, but if it does go that way, it would probably blend better, but that'll be a highway survey to make sure we have to comply with them, so.
Thank you for your time. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to the
Yeah, I'd like,
application?
sorry.
Go ahead.
Just a quick one. Got mobility issues. I just want to know.
Excuse me, just please give your name and
Oh,
address.
sorry,
please.
Ruth Renwick, 271 Water. I'm right behind the bridge on the other side. I'm here on the lane, water, and then there's the bridge. So I see the kids walking up and yelling,
Okay, thank you.
Call the non-emergency cops all the time. Just kidding. But I'd just like to know for my own clarification, with, as he was saying, the parking, or the cars, the traffic, it's kind of a triangle. You come off the bridge, and that old abandoned gas station area, are they gonna be touching that, or are they gonna use
That's
it?
it.
That's where they're building it.
Oh, I thought they were gonna build it where the trees are.
No.
Oh, okay, because I haven't seen a picture, sorry. So that's where they're gonna build it. And is there room in there for 53 families in that little, they can do that?
23.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, thank you.
I have a bit of a mobility issue also.
Before you start, please give your name and address.
I will. My name is Lily Wahlberg. I live at 366 Water Avenue.
Thank you.
And I want to reiterate what Dexter says about the bridge and the traffic coming off of that bridge. When Highway 5 is closed, the traffic triples off of that bridge. And if you live there, you hear it night and day steady, and it doesn't stop. It is not conducive for family to live at the bottom of that area. It just, you see enough of our accidents and what happens, and find somewhere else to put a 4-story building. I cannot say it enough, it's not gonna work very good, not for the people who live around there, not for children, definitely not for children. The bridge is so narrow, and unless Highways decides to make it wider, you have that congestion there. And if any of you have ever been there at an accident, you know it. It's not good. I'm kind of nervous, and normally I'm not, but today I am. Maybe because to me it's such a peaceful area, and 53 parking stalls is not going to be very good coming in and out. It doesn't matter where you come in and out, it's not going to be very good. And here on this statement it says, there also is a municipal, lane dedication by the rear of this property connecting to Water Avenue. It says so right over here. So, how is this going to be connected? Are you going to connect this to Water Avenue and have all this traffic diverted there, which is not a very good idea either, because you don't have any straight stop signs there, you have no street lights there, and it's not a very nice place to be at night in the dark.
Councillor Smith would like to speak to that.
Hi.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hi. So anyway, it used to be a restaurant there, right? And it was very
There
busy
was,
there, and they
yes.
pulled onto the highway. So, because you've been around for the history too here. So, but by going out the back way, you know, coming out that, it's much easier than going on the highway, which that's why the highways wanted it. So they are trying to ease it to make it a safer way on and off. And we are looking for places for people to live, and we also want to be safe about everything too. So, but I'm just saying that's why it was going on the highway before, for all those
I know,
years.
but how many years ago was that restaurant built? Let's get back down to that. And how many years was the Swiss Chalet built? I mean, it was there in the 50s before any of these real. And let's face it, Water Avenue used to be the highway.
Oh, it was, and then,
Yeah.
and the bridge, they've also expanded the bridge,
Yeah,
remember when they
yeah.
spent all the money
Oh,
widening
yeah.
the bridge out,
But
what it
now-
used to be for years. And also when they put the sign up there, Bob Hacking from the highways, that was one of the first ones to get people slowing down.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of accidents on that corner, it was terrible,
Yes.
and it has made a difference, so, I mean, they are trying to do things, has been very complacent about, you know, some of the things they do, but now they've really stepped up to the plate, I think, and trying to do more things to make it safer, so.
I don't think, and when I look at children, and I know that there will be families involved in this, and children have a tendency to play in areas where they're not supposed to, and I'm darn sure that's where they're going to go. They'll sneak across to the place across the highway where there's a little open area, they'll sneak back to the little park, but they're not going to just stay in a place where there is no play area. And this has no play area for children. I don't see anything green on that little,
There's no sidewalk either.
no sidewalk, nothing. Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Any other submissions at this time?
Yeah.
Thank you. Please state your name and address.
My name's Sarah Roxon, and I live at 338 Water Avenue.
You.
So I know how much hard work it is trying to put together these facilities that the city can benefit from and its residences. My concern is the fact that it's 4 stories, of which 3 are residential, which if you look at the area is not in keeping with the neighbourhood when you consider that it's single dwelling spaces. So that's my first concern. My second concern is once it goes up, it will be up there for 50 years. So the design part of it is extremely important to me. As it's a visual part of the road, it will be seen by everybody that goes in and off that bridge. And if it looks cheap and nasty, that's what it will become. My second opinion on this is I have a deep concern of actually where the entry exit is for this particular building, because if you have a look at the bridge as you're just coming off, the entry or exit for that building is literally just on that corner. And then you've got Fraser Street adjacent. So you've got not only the cars and the people who have spoken before me about the increase of traffic, it truly is real. The increase of traffic on the bridge, on this highway and on Water Avenue has trebled in the 11 years I've been living there. And you can hear it 365 days a year. The amount of trucks that go up and down on that bridge that shake it around, shake our house around, because of the speed they're going at, the velocity of what they're carrying, and the fact that they don't obey the rules. They don't listen to what the rules are for driving. They just go as they see fit, with jake brakes happening all the time. So my concern is, with this amount of children proposed at this particular location, if one of those kids got hurt or killed because a truckie couldn't stop or a car couldn't stop because a kid ran out on the street, we all have to live with it. So I believe that if you're going to propose to change this location, that it not be 3 stories high. Not at all. It's too much densification for that specific spot. If you went further down Walter Street, perhaps not so much. But because of specifically where that location is, that plot of land, it is not a good location for residential for kids. It's not. And when I consider all the community people who walk up and down on Water Ave as their daily walk, it's a go-to street. So you're going to have all these people who are locals doing their weekly walk or their daily walk, depending on what that is, plus the fact in the summertime now we're having to fight all these fishermen with their huge boats zooming up and down on the street. And that's not a joke, right? That's right. It's true. You know, and so you've got increased transportation from fishermen. You've got more and more people walking for their health on Water Street. Plus, you're proposing to put an entry-exit for Water Street where it is, and that road on Water Street just slightly curves. So if anybody's parked on that corner and you're a local, you know you have to swing wide to not hit the vehicle that's parked on the road. So if you're proposing that people can park around there, it's going to be a mess. And it's already a mess trying to get into Water Ave because of where the Chester Chickens feed thing is to get in. So winter time right now, when it's icy, it's potluck going around the corner, and if they don't ice the roads properly, it's still an issue. So if you've got transportation hurtling down on the highway to go into this particular facility, you've got a whole bunch of stuff happening. You've got Water Street residents trying to get in, then you've got the people who want to go into the Travel Lodge that need to get in, and then you've got, not the Travel Lodge, the Swiss Lodge, and then you've got this proposed development. It's too much. It's just a recipe for disaster. Because non-local people use that corridor as a speedway on both roads. So if you start putting more kids there, or the densification being as big as it is, that's a problem. Now, I'm not against the area being developed. If you want to keep it commercial, fine by me, but as soon as you start putting 3 stories of potential children with their mums and their dads, or just their mum, it's just going to create chaos. Because you can't keep your eyes on your kids all the time, as you well know. And saying to them, stay inside all day is just ridiculous. They have to go outside. Well, where are they going to go outside to? Where is it going to be safe? And for all the kids that need to cross the road to go to school, how's that safe?
So I just have a question to the developer. How many units of single bedroom units?
There will be 4 one-bedroom.
Only 4 one bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay, only 2 bedroom?
2 bedroom will be 18,
Yeah, just want to make sure.
and 1 3-bedroom. If I may add one point is we are proposing a new city sidewalk at the developer cost for city sidewalk.
Well, that's lovely, but you still got to get across the road. And it's a major thoroughfare. I'm sure if highways actually ticket every single vehicle that went over there, you'd all be shocked. Because I know we are. In the last 4 years, it's like, wow, we're in Vancouver. So it's not, I'm not trying to put the project down. I'm trying to explain that I don't believe it's the right area for so many children to be exposed to a major highway. And the fact that there isn't proper thoroughfare for vehicles and people, if they want to walk their dogs on the highway there, that's not easy. I walked actually on Sunday with a lady who was, she had one of those scooter things that you walk with, that you hold on to. And I had to go on the outside, and she had to go on the inside, and we caused all the traffic behind us to slow down because it wasn't wide enough for both of us, and it wasn't safe enough for both of us.
Yeah.
So these are my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to the application this time? All right, thank you very much. That's the end of the input. So the public hearing is now closed. So there'll be no further submissions, either verbal or written, regarding the proposed bylaw that can be made to council. Thank you for attending. We'll take a short break and then reconvene at 7.